Hi, welcome to this week's workplace series. Today, I'm going to be talking about power and power dynamics. Many years ago, a colleague of mine said to me, Michelle, you can get to a certain level by just being good at what you do. But if you want to go further, go higher, you need to play the political game. That comment stuck with me, and it stuck with me because while it was probably well-intentioned, it didn't sit right. It implied that the only way you can succeed, the pathway for success, requires scheming, being Machiavellian. And in today's world, where your reputation follows you no matter where you go, that kind of thinking, well, that's going to cause long-term damage. Because you do need to notice politics, but you don't have to play politics. And let's be honest, politics exists in every workplace. And if you think your workplace is exempt, well, it's probably happening. You're just not noticing it. You're not paying enough attention to what is going on around you. But navigating politics successfully doesn't mean that you play it. What it does mean is that you're smart, you're observant, and you're ethical because you guard your reputation. You don't need to gossip, manipulate, compete behind the scenes, but what you do need is to be politically astute, aware of power dynamics, and aware of how power plays out in your organisation. You want to have a strong network and also the courage to act with integrity. It helps to understand the sources of power. And the best way to do that is to think about where power comes from. And there are 6 classic sources of power. And this comes from the work of French and Raven. So firstly, there's legitimate power, or what we call positional power. And this comes from the position that you are in. There's also reward power, and this is the ability to compensate, reward people for their effort or offer incentives. Number 3, expert power, and this power is derived from your skills, your knowledge. There's referent power, and this is how likable or respected you are. And there's also coercive power. This is the power to punish for non-compliance, whether you actually do it or don't do it, but it's whether you've got that ability. Then there is informational power, that ability to control the flow of information. But you can also add to that relational power. For example, an EA can have relational power because of their direct access to a CEO. There's also collective power when teams unite to push for change. These dynamics from these sources of power are always at play. The key is to see them clearly and to ask, what's happening here? How is power flowing through? Who's influencing the decisions? Who's in the room? Who isn't? Because this is about balancing the power. Power isn't inherently bad, but power imbalances are. Whether in politics or in organisations, when power is concentrated in the hands of the few, progress stalls. Voices that need to be heard are silenced. And then trust breaks down. Great leaders, influential leaders understand this. They look for ways to share the power. They're not going to hoard it. They're going to delegate authority. They're going to encourage diverse input. They're going to find ways to share that power. So they're creating space for others to shine. As part of this, you want to know your own power. Because don't forget, you have power too. Now, some of it might come from your role, but often your greatest source of power comes from within. It's your internal courage, your values, your resilience, your willingness to step forward, speak up, even when it's uncomfortable. This is you, when you need to, holding your ground, backing yourself. Because when you lose your voice, when you don't step up, that power imbalance, well, it's going to get even higher. When you reclaim your internal sense of power, you can shift that dynamic. You also want to understand how diplomacy works because this is about you being the diplomat. Think of it as listening well, knowing how to adapt your message to the room, staying tuned in to those subtle shifts. shifts in the tone, shifts in the tempo, shifts in the internal power dynamics. You can do all of this at work because what you're going to be doing is paying attention to how decisions are made, speaking with clarity, building bridges, not walls. Being politically savvy isn't about manipulation. It's about mastering the art of influence with integrity. And a key part of this, building real relationships, because it's very hard to influence power dynamics, to have a say without strong relationships. So think about your mentors, allies, colleagues, the people who can guide you, support you, amplify your impact. But with all of this, it's not just who you know, it's who trusts you. Because in any environment, any workplace, your reputation is your currency. You want to protect it, nurture it. Be the person that others want to work with. So as you reflect on all of this, here's one of your key takeaways from today's workplace series. You don't have to play the game to succeed at work, but you do need to understand the game. Be wise to the power structures. Speak with courage. Act with integrity. As the author Stephen Covey said, trust is the glue of life. You think about it, it's what holds relationships, teams, and whole organizations together. So think about how that plays out for you and the type of leader that you want to be. Because if you want to be an influential leader, this isn't about mastering the political rivalry game. This is about you turning up and being you, stepping ahead, stepping up with courage and integrity. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next week.